What does it take to kill the big bucks? And does a big buck really matter? All that with Kodiak Mullins out in Colorado and Thomas Allen up in Minnesota. I'm KJ. You found the right place. We go all over this little blue orb, sharing stories and tactics about chasing wild game. Now, let's get on the hunt. All right, welcome in all you Gun Talk hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and I am definitely back. I am back from some good hunts. I'm back from some rough hunts, but this episode is brought to you by Remington Ammo, Ruger Firearms, and First Person Defender. Go check out all the action over there, First Person Defender. All right, so we're going all the way out to Colorado. Kodiak Mullins, a guide outfitter, is going to be joining us. And then we get to one of our favorite guests, Thomas Allen, all the way up in Minnesota, and he's got a big buck story. It's not a big buck story. It's a little buck story. But anyway, let's jump over to Colorado, out to Colorado with Kodiak. Kodiak, how you doing, man?
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Definitely a little nervous, but ready to get this going.
This isn't the place to get nervous. The time to get nervous is when something like this steps out. That's when you start getting nervous.
You're definitely right.
This isn't it. This is just talking hunting. And man, Kodiak, tell us what you kind of do for a living. And you are a guide. You hunt all over the country. Just give us a little background.
Yeah, I try to hunt as much as I can, as much as my family and my wife will allow, which is quite a bit for the most part on the average. Me and my wife both work at a gun store that my buddy owns, SDS Guns in Colorado Springs. I'm currently here right now. That was took me so long to get on the podcast here. Was just driving into work. We're about 40 minutes from home, but yeah. We sell guns. And we buy and sell used guns. We sell new guns. Pretty much a perfect thing for a hunter like myself to get involved in, and being my buddy owns it, it works out great and helps me and my wife and family out. And, we help them out by selling a bunch of guns for them.
That's awesome. So,
yeah. And then, go ahead.
So when you, I bet you see all walks of life come through that store. But hunting season has to be a very interesting one for me. I think from behind the gun counter, like talking to hunters, and especially being a guide like you are, that has to be an interesting experience.
It definitely helps the days go by faster. It's fun. I've found myself talking with a couple customers for a couple hours before. And then I'm often giving out our number and our contact just to get our name out there. And you mentioned that I'm a guide, and me and my wife have been doing this for a long time, and we're finally just starting to want to get it rolling and make it all official. I've just been helping family and friends and close friends but yeah, during the day at the gun shop behind the counter, we get a lot of different folks, and a lot of guys that like long range stuff, a lot of guys that don't like it, a lot of guys that like big calibers, a lot of guys that like little calibers. It's all walks, like you said, and I try to relate to all the hunters and what they like, and get that kind of feel for that way when we are official with this guidance service and get everything legit, it'll be that much easier to communicate with customers and clients.
Yeah. So during your experience, especially this time of the year, and this is going to go route, man, this is going to be the last episode before Christmas. What are you looking at? I mean, as far as hunts, a lot of the rut is died out. It's done. But guys are still trying to fill that tag. They're still trying to punch that tag. Mostly probably going to be through like a late season muzzleloader or archery. Is kind of what guys are looking at.
Yes.
What are your suggestions on targeting deer this time of the year?
I mean, here in Colorado, we had a late cold front that came in. It wasn't as cold during the normal rut season. I was just out last week with a buddy of mine trying to help him fill an either sex mule deer tag with his bow. And we went to a few properties that I've got permission to hunt, and we made a small little stalk in the morning on them. It was like 18 degrees. It was pretty cold. We made a little stalk, got within 80 yards, and couldn't make it happen. We got pinned by a doe. But my suggestion for guys is to play the weather. I mean, we luckily had a couple bucks chasing does still, and that were, I mean, they were grouped up with other bucks, so there was about 3 or 4 in that group, and there was about 20 does. And
Boy, that's a lot of eyeballs. Woo.
that is a lot of eyeballs, and that's kind of, we did good at getting in at 80, but we had one mama doe that just, she pinned us within that 80 yards, and she wouldn't take her eyes off of us. The bucks came within about 70 yards without, and my buddy felt comfortable at 60 with the weather and his arrows in the cold. He didn't really want to take that risk at anything over 60. And I understood that, so I told him that was fine. I think we could get in there, but she just wouldn't take her eyes off of us. So we got lucky and kind of fortunate that we still have a little bit of the chasing going on. I do think it is on the downhill slide of the rut. When I was in Missouri this year, we kind of hit it right perfect. Bucks were taking does and bedding up with them, and they were still kind of chasing. So the rain kind of messed with us a little bit, but we definitely still made it happen.
Man, when the weather stays warm, and this year was a little bit unseasonably warm for us, like in central and the southeast, it seemed like it was drier. And now I don't know if you guys will hear it. It's been raining all day nonstop down here. Like this is more like it. But man, we had one cold snap during my last hunt, and that set it off. Like that, I don't know what it triggered in those bucks, but it's like, man, this is the weather we've been waiting for. And I will say this, I saw deer doing the chasing and the lockdown stuff all in the heat of the day too.
Absolutely.
Like it didn't matter, but it seems like that activity hung on a little bit longer when that cold snap just hit, and it was just right.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. They were moving when we needed to. I don't know about you guys. The moon phase was definitely played a factor. Last year we had a lot of issues during the rut. The moon had them on lockdown, and they were completely nocturnal. This year, like you said, that the weather was kind of messing with them a little bit. The rain had a lot of the bucks in the heavier timber and the cedars and stuff when I was in Missouri. The muleys out here in Colorado, they were definitely down in the riverbeds getting out of the wind, because again, there's not much to block the wind down here, so wherever they can get, they will. So I mean, it was kind of tough finding them and getting on them, but I mean, if you pay attention to their patterns and know where they're at on certain properties, I definitely feel like property, knowing each property itself instead of just knowing all your places as one, just knowing each individual one, what'll be better for when you're out there, it helps out a lot.
Yeah.
And me and my wife put in a lot of time in the off season, and she'll tell you all I do after is ride around and go park and walk and just learn the land and learn what the animals are doing, even when I can't hunt them.
Yeah.
So try to figure out which way they're going to go and be able to give the best opportunity for whoever I'm taking and myself hunting.
Well, there's a lot of legwork that goes into, I mean, especially guiding. Like guiding is a whole different game. Like if you're thinking about getting into it, I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, you're hunting, you've got to be on top of your game, no matter who your client is. But man, what are some tactics that you have found? Because you, as a guide, you'll see every type of hunter. You'll see an introductory hunter, intermediate, and then your advanced skill levels that you don't have to mess with a lot. What are tactics that work for all stages of hunting? Like whether you're an expert, whether you're an intermediate, or whether you're a beginner. What have you put people on deer with?
My biggest thing is almost in anything I really do, you got to have, I think my number one is going to be heart. They got to have the heart to want to be able to pursue that animal and actually be successful.
Yeah.
If they don't have it in there, they don't really care. I've seen some guys come out that are just kind of on a vacation to get away from either their wife or significant other or whatever the case may be, job, whatever that may be. But a lot of guys that I tend to take a lot of people that have that heart and drive and haven't had success and they want to be successful. So the tactics that I can just tell everybody to just stay consistent with or play the wind. Know what you're hunting. I mean, between antelope, mule deer, whitetail, elk, they're all different. They're all smarter individuals than the other. I personally think whitetail and elk are probably the smarter out of the four. But when you get into that, I mean, just research the animal that you're hunting and just figure out their patterns. Wind is the biggest thing, so you don't get winded, and can have a closer opportunity. And then just stay steady. Don't get nervous. It's hard to say, easier said than done. But buck fever is something that you can overcome if you just put your mind to it, and just celebrate when you're done. When that animal is on the ground and you've harvested what you're out to hunt, then you can jump up for joy. You can scream, you can yell all you want, and be proud of yourself for doing that. But as long as you can stay focused on the basics of the wind and the food, shelter, water, the animals will come to you.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, like on the wind thing, and I think you're 100% correct. In the rut, when the rut is happening, it tends to be the moments where you can get away with a little bit more, but you can never beat that doe's nose or the eyes. I mean, once they lock onto you, you're done. But I had an instance happen, and it's happened to me multiple times. But my buddy was hunting like the edge of a wheat field, looking back into the timber. So he's looking back into the timber of these deer entering the food plots in the afternoon. And he was covered up with probably, I don't know, it was, probably like 15 does, a couple of small bucks running around there, chasing, doing their thing. He had a nice buck come out. He passed it. I think he's an idiot. But he was doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He was like, I know what deer you like to harvest and you like to see out here. He goes, I made the decision to pass it. And I go, you're an idiot. Like, you should have shot that thing. I don't care that much. Like, just take something you'd be happy with. But this was a north wind blowing, does all around him. And he was like, I don't know what happened. He goes, they were all behind me and nothing spooked. Nothing. And the wind was consistent. So I don't know if the thermals, I don't know if thermals were messing with that and they were bringing them up. But you would think with the night dropping, they would be starting to fall.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on, but man,
he just had good cover scent.
No, dude, he didn't cover scent. We walked into the Airbnb and I had to take out, I took out scent wafers and stuff that they were like trying to make the Airbnb smell good. I was like, nope, coming off. These are all out. I was like, we're leaving our boots outside. It was that bad. I don't know. It was a weird happenstance that nothing picked him off.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it happen before. I've had spikes walk in, usually young bucks for the most part, not as often as a doe. But young bucks kind of get on the stupider side. Yeah. And they present themselves quite often. And that goes to the whole being understanding of what you're ready to harvest. And that's all in the hunter itself who has a tag. Yeah. I feel like if it makes you happy, like you said, if he had shot it and been happy with it, then go ahead and harvest that animal. But them small bucks that come in there like that, it's too easy almost, and I tell them to shoo away. I shoo them off and say, "Go on, man. You
get out of here."
Yeah.
Go find your dad. Tell him to get over here.
Yeah. I'm not looking for you.
Now, what you say is you just tell them, like sit them down and say, "Hey, all these ladies out here could be yours. Like every single one of them. You don't have to chase off any bucks. You don't have to worry. Just show me your grandfather and bring him over here, or your dad. Either one." Yeah. I'll take care of it from there.
Bring him out of that cedar patch, or bring him out of that little hole that he's in there, and tell him you want to fight, and let him kick your butt a little bit, and then
then we're good. Well, I appreciate it, Kodiak. We're gonna jump over. We're gonna take a real quick small break, but we're gonna jump over to Mr. Thomas Allen out in Minnesota and see what he has going on right after this break. Tired of your range time being just mag dumps and Instagram flexing? Inner Range Ready Training, we're director of awesomeness and everything else. Chris Sereno turns keyboard warriors into actual warriors or something like that. Pretty dang close, I would say. Yeah, the guy's been there, done that. Pistol, check. Rifle, check. Yeah, we got it all. Force on force, we do that every now and then too. Bring your bruises, instructor development. Welcome to the Thunderdome of learning. It's more than training, it's range ready because real life doesn't come with a respawn button. You ever pick up a rifle and think, oh, this thing means business? That's the CZ 600 Plus. I've shot it, torn it down, put it back together. Honestly, it's as easy to break down as it is to shoot. And speaking of shooting, the accuracy on this thing makes you look like you planned it. We're talking a 60-degree bolt throw that cycles smoother than your buddy's pickup lines, a controlled feed action that refuses to hiccup, and a user-adjustable trigger you can tune without needing a toolbox. Want more? The interchangeable barrel system lets you swap calibers like you're changing hats. Same rifle, new mission. And that convertible magazine? Run it as a detachable mag or lock it and go old school internal. Your call. If you want a rifle that's modular, accurate, reliable, and stupid simple to break down, the CZ USA 600 Plus isn't just a standout. It's the one you'll compare everything else to. Go shoot it. You'll get it. Looking to level up your hunt and tighten up those groups? Well, look no further than Remington Ammo. Yeah, the stuff in the green box is super accurate, and they've got everything from hunting ammo all the way to NRL like match ammo. So check those out. Remington Premier, from Premier Tip AccuTip to match grade ammunition, all in that green box you love, you trust, and you adore. Find it all at remington.com. Looking for a rifle that's short, sharp, and way more precise than you on your best day? Meet the Ruger American Gen 2 Scout, the Gun Talk Edition. This thing's compact powerhouse, dressed in Cryptek Obscura Nox camo with a smoked bronze Cerakote finish like Tactical Fashion Week, but with more recoil. Chambered in 5.56 NATO or 308, it's got a threaded barrel, installed high comb, and the kind of accuracy that forgives your bad decisions. At least the ballistic ones. You can find it at guntalkscout.com. Welcome back. We are heading up to Minnesota, and Thomas Allen, favorite guest, big buck killer, turkeys, like the dude hunts it all. Now he's gonna become a land baron at some point. I'm waiting for that because now he is selling properties, like hunting properties. So if you're listening to this and you have an interest in either selling your place or acquiring, he's gonna be your man. Thomas Allen, welcome in.
Hey, Kevin, you have low standards as usual. But yes, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. Happy to spin a story or two.
Well, you know what story I want to hear, because we all set standards for ourselves. Like we all say, you know, I want to harvest X like type of deer. And sometimes we don't achieve those. So talk to me about what your rut report is and how your season's been.
Well, let's start out a little bit of what's going on in Minnesota today. I woke up to a balmy -11. Coldest air of the season is here. Our lakes are mostly froze over. Tommy was out last night checking ice on a lake nearby, 4 to 6 inches. So like we're getting into ice fishing season's right around the corner. Something we love here.
That's a thing.
Yeah, well, it's a thing here. Interestingly, the last 2 nights, last 2 afternoons, the biggest deer, and this is not a giant, but the biggest buck we've had on camera in our yard has daylighted. So we have daylight pictures of this deer. And I was actually going to get up early this morning. It's a true story. I was going to run out and sight in the muzzleloader because that season opened up here on a week ago. Hoping that Tommy would want to get out and take advantage, maybe sit tonight. And I went upstairs while he was drinking his grown-up man coffee. And he said, "No, Dad, I don't want to go." I said,
"What?
Buddy, that deer's out there. You don't want to go?" He's like, "Dad, I'm tired of freezing. Every time I go, I don't see anything." I'm like, "Okay." So I was going to get up and go sight in the muzzleloader today, being way behind. But I think I didn't have to be talked out of going. He said he wasn't interested, so maybe tomorrow. But it's been an interesting season here. There's a whole nother story we don't have time to get into, but it's probably for a later date of just the way things happen.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, who doesn't hunt very often, got a shot at the target buck that Tommy was after. We near had a family breakdown, hot mess. But I would tell you, in the north, I would say we had a pretty normal rut. It wasn't a super fast, like 2-3 days. It was deer everywhere. We had a pretty consistent, like 7 to 10 day period where we had daylight photos, and it was exciting enough. But I didn't really have a lot of time to invest, Kevin. Tommy did. He hunted a bunch. You kind of alluded to this earlier. I switched careers this summer. Had a 20-year career in the outdoor industry working on the fishing side of things. Loved it. Super grateful for it. Decided to take a turn, and I'm now a land agent. So because those paychecks depend on the amount of work and time I put in, I just didn't have a lot of time this fall to hunt.
Dude, I've been trying to get you on the show. I mean, all fall, like every single like request I send out, you know, and I know you're busy. Like, I mean, I just understand that. But man, you are hard to get hold of. And it's a good thing.
I apologize. I have missed the sound of your grovelly voice.
I know.
Griping in my ear about this, that, or the other thing. But no, I do. You know, it's been it takes a little effort to kind of get the momentum going in this space. And one thing I can tell you, we can do a whole nother show about this down the road. But there's a tremendous barrier to entry. If you want to get into land sales, like, you got to be committed to it and understand that you're going to go 4 to 6 months or more without really having any pay. And thank God my wife is a hardworking woman and doesn't mind sharing her health insurance with us, because this house depends on it. But
right.
We're going to get there.
Yeah, you'll get there.
But,
I have no doubt. But we will, because I do want to get you back on to just talk about purchasing hunting land, what to look for. I want to get to that episode, like, because that's a huge, like, a lot of guys are in that stage of their life where it's like hunting is becoming a rich man's sport. Don't let people fool you. Like, the barriers to entry in this space are huge. Like, it is becoming a rich man's sport, and I'm sorry, but it kind of pisses me off. And maybe I perpetuate some of that. And I'm sorry if I come across that way, but I'm lucky. Like, I'll hunt public land, but I'm lucky that I have a lease and I have private land that I can hunt. So I want to get into that. That's a whole episode, and we might just have a couple of land agents on and just go through that. But
yeah,
I know, I'm sorry. I got onto like a little stool there that was about 4 or 5 inches off the ground.
I kind of feel like we need to segue just a minute, because I think on this very show we've often talked about your concern about my standards.
Yes.
We've evaluated this deeply. I've been criticized, probably accurately, in particular back to a visit Tommy and I had to Oklahoma, where you knew I had a standard. I wanted to stick to it. And I don't need to brag. Like, I love shooting old, ugly bucks. I'm just fascinated by old deer. And I think anybody that is a committed whitetail hunter, and really it might just go across all big game species if you're dedicated to a specific species. There are about 5 phases, as they say, right? And I'm going to go through real briefly. You got your entry level, right? You're shooting everything and anything that moves. You're in the pile 'em up phase. Phase 2, you're starting to realize that there's more opportunity. You might pass a few small bucks, but you're going to shoot a mediocre deer. Phase 3 kind of gets into that. I'm going to shoot a bigger buck, but I have a lot of time to commit and end up shooting a nicer deer, maybe looking at age structure, maybe looking at management. Phase 4, you're really committed to a big animal, but you're still willing to sacrifice those standards. Phase 5 is, and really this is where I guess I would associate with and bless everybody across the whole phase transition. Like, you got to be committed to that. Like, I love hunting with my kids. That's phase 5. I love chasing a particular deer. I will pass deer. I'll eat a tag to get the right deer in front of me. But I think what's not been talked about is phase 6. And this is the DGAF phase, right? This is where you've put in countless hours, days, weeks, mosquito bites. You know, you got chiggers up in your unmentionables. Like, there is a point where you have got to kill one. And
whatever walks out. That's this stage.
I have a great friend that has given me permission to work with him and build a property in northern Minnesota. His name's Brandon. He's a very challenging person to get along with, but we get along so well because we're the same. But long story short, we had high hopes. This property is in a part of the state that offers opportunity, if you're willing to give it, at big animals.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of time this year. We put in 7 acres of food plots, maybe not quite that much, but 7 food plots. Had some replant issues, the whole thing that comes along with land management. And we got to the last day of Minnesota's rifle season. I hunted for 4 days. That's the equivalent amount of time that I had committed. And on the last morning, we had a little tweener buck come out to say, about 70 yards.
Tweener buck. What's a tweener buck?
Like,
I want you to say it.
he might have more. He might have. He's like he's a little bigger than a spike.
Okay.
But maybe not measurably. Like there were other little nubs and whatever. We'll just say this: he came out to 70 yards, and the old starvation empty freezer took control, and I let the 6.5 Creedmoor eat.
Was there anything left of him?
Do you have a picture? You need to at least here. Let me put up a picture. Let's honor this guy because he did give the ultimate
served his
sacrifice.
time in the woods well, and he'll eat just as good.
Listen,
where
yeah,
is that a doe?
Look, I'm not sorry.
With
No, listen. This is what it came down to, and this is 100% honest, serious note. We as a culture have put so much value on hunters based on what they can kill.
You're
and
right.
I think you walk through everybody's trophy room, and you can probably get a pretty good gauge on what they're capable of. But that was fun. Like I had a good time with that. I didn't have to drag him far, and if I did, I could have done it by myself.
Well, you could have slung him
Right,
over your
like-
shoulder.
But there comes a point where I think you just need to let one hit the ground.
No,
and Brandon and I have decided we're going to call this. We call Phase 6. He's going to just have to do this year.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I have no problem with that. And guys that show me deer like that, I'm like, man, did you work hard for it? Are you happy? And they're like, yeah, I had a great time. Awesome. Like, it doesn't matter. Now, I will say,
and listen, I was going to say, like, naturally, I shoot that deer, fill my tag, all the bucks come out of the woodwork up there. It is what it is. But there's an element to I'm limited on time. I put in a lot of effort in between changing careers, all this stuff. Didn't have the money to spend on gas, still went. And if that's what I have to show for it, I'm all right with that because it still gave me an experience that I wanted. It gave me the food that we needed, and I'm happy as a clam. And I honestly thought after I shot it, I'm like, I can't believe how great that was. Kevin, it was refreshing. It's almost like I stepped back to being a younger man, and I'm like, yeah, this is what it's about.
this is what it feels like. Yeah.
It was good.
Oh,
It was
my
good.
gosh.
So there you go.
I'm telling you, there is something to just going out, enjoying your time in the woods, and just taking a deer that you're going to be happy with. There's something to be said about that. Now, do we put too much pressure on ourselves? I mean, because you sit here and look, and like Kodiak may say the same thing, is that we put so much pressure on ourselves. They're like, I have to kill the big buck. And like, I can't imagine the pressure Kodiak's under, and we can have him talk about that here in a second. But like, to have to fill those freezers, to have to like show those horns, like, hey, this is what you can expect when you're with me. Like, that's a big amount of pressure.
It is, but let me kind of parallel this with what I alluded to earlier. So we had a big deer that my son was hunting. My daughter wounded the deer. We didn't find it. He showed back up. He's still alive as far as we know. Okay, we'll just mention that. But I asked, Tommy had a near breakdown. We had to have a father-son come to Jesus talk about how the deer should affect our behavior or how it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I had to ask him this question. I said, why is it so important for you to kill that deer? Well, Dad, I want one on the wall that I can be proud of. I said, well, you have others. Yeah, but we always want more. There's nothing wrong with that. So why is that deer important to you? He said, so when people come and visit, they can see. I said, all right, let's talk about that. You're not wrong in wanting to accomplish that, but if you're shooting that deer to appease your peer group or to get the attention of people on social media, then you probably ought to just hang it up and go fishing.
Yeah.
Because it ain't about what you make other people feel. You need to have that mentality in your mind that when you pull the trigger, it's about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not justifying shooting a small deer because I had a good time with it. But what I'm saying as a culture, we've drifted away from what it means to us and have focused on what our decisions in the woods mean to other people. And that's where I'm done. Like, I've had it with that. The outdoor industry pushes that, not in a bad way all the time, but sometimes that hunt this year to me meant something.
A lot of times it happens. But all right, hey, let's jump in. Let's bring Kodiak back in. I think this is a great conversation we're having right now on pressure that we put on ourselves. And I honestly, I really kind of want to hear what Kodiak has to say about that. Kodiak, so I got to ask you, man, do we put too much pressure on ourselves? Is the outdoor industry putting too much pressure? Are we trying to live up to standards on socials? What are your thoughts?
Kind of funny. The other day, or yesterday, I just put up. It was my day off, and my wife needed to ride into work because she doesn't like driving in the snow. So I put up my buck that I killed in Missouri on a scoring page and a couple other whitetail public pages. And in my eyes, he's only like a 135 to 140, maybe 145. And he was on a run, and I shot him. So to the standards point, I feel like we are kind of held to that. We have to shoot a big buck. We have to shoot something that everybody's going to be jealous of, type thing. As a guide, I do have a lot of stress on my shoulders and put it on myself that if I don't successfully help someone find an animal, it's kind of my fault. But all I can do as a guide is give them the opportunity. They have to take that and succeed and make it count. But I definitely try within my best to make sure that they're going to succeed. Make sure guys can shoot. Not that everybody can't, but like you said, there's those levels of the intermediate and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even the 6. But I think that, yes, we do kind of get held that high and put a little bit of stress on ourselves to where if we don't fill our freezers, it's kind of a waste of time. But the memories are what we need to remember, and we all talked about a little bit. You both briefly spoke that it's kind of getting expensive and it's a rich man's game. I totally agree with that, and I want the blue-collar guys to be able to go out and hunt and not feel as stressed, but also be able to make those memories that kids, grandkids, wives, and significant others, husbands are all going to remember, and not necessarily worry about the freezer being full. That's all of our point, and our goal is to fill our freezer. But if we don't hold it over ourselves and don't let it eat at you. And we're all going to lose a buck once or twice. If you hunt enough, you're going to lose a buck. You're going to hit a buck and not make a great contact with them. And it all plays into a factor. But if we were maybe able to take a little bit of that stress off of our shoulders, it would become a little easier, and that way we would be able to put more thoughts into being more successful instead of worrying about how successful we are when we are successful.
Yeah, I agree. Thomas, you got anything else?
Well, I think that there's kind of a growing perception here about if you're taking pictures of the sunrise, you're not seeing deer, you're not catching fish. Like, I think there's some truth to that. And listen, I've hunted whitetails in half a dozen states. You know, I love it. I really, really do. It's one of the most fascinating critters that walks the face of the earth. I love a turkey too.
Yep.
But I'm not taking away at all from those that want to perform at that high level. If you have the opportunity to, like, that's my dream, right? I would like to own my own land and have enough dirt to manage and pass deer and be confident they're going to make it to the next year. That's, I think, all of our goals in the long run.
Yeah.
But what people have this tendency to think is like, oh, if you shoot a 1.5-year-old buck, you're robbing an opportunity from me, even if you're in a different state or even if you're in the same town. I just like it is within the realms of management a renewable resource. And like, I didn't ruin the entire state of northern Minnesota's hunting by shooting a 1.5-year-old buck, but that's what people like to kind of imply. Like, oh, I hate you for shooting that. What kind of message are you putting out there to the incoming generations of hunting? And no, nobody said this to me specifically, but that's the stigma that you fight online if you care to engage in that. So I think what it comes down to is get your experience. I want more people to enjoy the sport. The more people that we have involved in it, the better the industry is, the healthier the sport is, the stronger the awareness, right? There's a lot of good things, but don't feel like you're cheating yourself out of an experience by filling your freezer with a good buck or something you're happy with. And this goes, if my son were right here, I'd say this to him, like, you don't need to shoot that big buck to have my respect, buddy. You know, I want you to have an experience you're proud of. And on top of that, an experience you can learn from. If that's a spike, that's awesome. If it's a big buck, awesome. But to me, both of those animals together at that early part as being a developing bow hunter, they're both valuable.
Yeah.
And don't overlook the stair steps to becoming a big trophy hunter. And I like big bucks, but
We all do.
sometimes,
Right?
sometimes the little one's just gonna have to do.
Yep. That stage 6 buck is just, he's one step away at all times. So let's jump back over to Kodiak. Kodiak, tell people where they can go to find out more about, like, if someone's in Colorado or they need a guide, you're the man. Tell them where they can go find out more about
Yeah,
you.
because I'm coming. I want to shoot a whitetail with you.
Yeah.
For sure, not a problem. Like I say, so me and my wife we're currently in the works of getting all this together. Raghorn Outfitters. We are, and we can just a little bit of the name. I chose Raghorn Outfitters because there's a lot of guides that pride themselves on those big trophies, and outfitters that pride themselves on those monster bucks and those monster bulls. And I'm not saying that with Raghorn Outfitters we're not going to give you an opportunity at a monster bull or buck, but we are out there mainly for the cost-effective. I am not necessarily trying to undercut everybody else, but
Yep.
I'm trying to make those blue-collar guys be able to afford a hunt. We are out here, like I said, based out of the Eastern Plains in Callahan, Colorado. My wife and my buddy's wife are making a Instagram and a web page right now as we speak. That will be, I can get links and over to you, Kevin,
Yeah.
and then we can put them out there, and I can have contacts. I can even put out my phone number for now, just so people can get a hold of me. I've been on the phone for the last week with guys every night, all night. One guy talked to me for 2 hours. But
That's awesome.
we're out here. We're out here trying to get the prices of these hunts down. We're offering almost half the rate of everybody else, because my goal is not to get a check or receive a handful of cash at the end of this. That is really kind of the last of my worries. My biggest thing is making it like a family experience to where everybody that comes out with Raghorn Outfitters feels like they are part of our family, and that I am helping them fill their freezer. And again, it's not about making the money and taking these guys out and just putting them on a big animal. It's about making the experience fun for them, and being able to have enough money to still provide for their family, because we all know that hunting seasons kind of fall. That the later seasons fall around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that, and New Year's, and people are spending money on gifts and stuff like that, and they don't have the money to spend $7,000 on an elk hunt. And that's why we're coming in at our pricing is going to be $1,800 for a buck antelope. Our pricing is going to be like $3,000 for a mule deer hunt versus $7,000 on it, 5 to 7 on an average. We're really trying to make it affordable for everybody, and to where they can bring their kids. And the guy that I spoke with for 2 hours on the phone, he is wanting to book 6 hunts for him and his brother to take their 2 kids hunting. He mentioned
That's
that he
awesome.
wasn't able to do that with a lot of other outfitters because they can't go drop $20,000 for 2 hunts. It just doesn't work.
That's incredible. All
so-
right. Let's jump back over to Thomas Allen. Thomas Allen, someone needs some land or they need to sell some land. Where are they going to find out about you?
Well, first of all, Kodiak's doing is awesome. I'm intrigued by that, and I think the more people kind of start looking, I'm not saying to shoot small deer, but what I did, what you're doing, I think there's a reset coming in the industry, and I
hope
kudos
there's
to
a
you.
reset.
I love what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
I'm
awesome.
like, I hope there's a reset coming, and I mean that's what we need. We need to reset and go, hey, wait, are we just out there selling gear and like this high level experience, or are we like we're filling those freezers, we're having and still having the experience? Like I want it. I want a reset come. Like let's bring it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, like I said before, it's not about taking down anybody else. You do it the way you want to do it. That's what I
Exactly,
want.
I agree.
That's the beauty of this. So,
Yep.
Anyway, off soapbox. So I'm licensed in Minnesota. So anybody looking for hunting opportunities or recreational properties, farms, That's what I specialize in. I work with Midwest Land Group based out of the Kansas City area. So they're all over the Midwest. They're in Louisiana, Kevin.
Yeah.
I think they're in Colorado. So it's a Midwestern organization that brokers land deals, and I'm proud to be a part of their organization. So right now we're getting the ball rolling, learning a little bit along the way. I just had an hour conversation about a tax assessment. You want to talk about that? I know something about it. But I think what our collective goal here is making dreams come true, and that's what I'm hoping to do. So excited about what's to come, and it's been a fun ride so far. So
That's awesome. Well,
MidwestLandGroup.com, that's the website.
what is it?
MidwestLandGroup.com.
All right. Go check them out. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. And hey, as always, Gun Talk Hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointing in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.